Hey, we're here with the Gridiron Geek for week number 7. How you doing, Kurt?
Pretty good, Ray. Nice to see you again.
Awesome, awesome. Hey, we're just a couple of weeks away here from district competition. I know you'll want to talk a little bit about that throughout this week's matchups. But any
Absolutely.
surprises from last week that you may recall from?
Well, first of all, I wanted to say I'm wearing some green. I can't see too well through the video chat, but this is for the Desoto Dragons because let it not be said that Mississippi Magazine doesn't support all teams
That's right.
in the Mississippi Conference.
There you go.
And Desoto will be returning from hiatus
That's right.
to play Hillsboro. So we'll talk about that one a little bit later. How could you not talk about Festus versus North County?
Yeah.
Among last week's results, the conference championship being won on an old-fashioned Hail Mary. I've heard conflicting reports that the ball was actually tipped near the line of scrimmage
Wow.
and just sort of wobbling Case Martin's way by the pylon, adjusting his feet like Drew Pearson in 1975, catching the original Hail Mary from Roger Staubach
Nice.
and winning the conference championship. So that was a fantastic game. You could say the referees maybe overdid it a little bit. I think we had around 250 yards worth of penalties.
Ooh.
But I think by now Misha fans are kind of tuning out all of the overbearing penalties and just say, okay, let them march back and forth. It's game on after that. So a terrific game at Mid Meadow Lane and a terrific championship.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Let's get to our matchups right now. Here we go. We're going to start off with Herculaneum at Crystal City. That is a rescheduled game from a couple of weeks ago that Herculaneum had to put a new team on the schedule, and so they threw Crystal City. So what do you think about that? As I see your
A
cat
new
go
old team.
across, that was awesome. That was awesome.
Yes, yes, she's a fan of the Festus Tigers, the Northwest Lions, Herculaneum Black Cats. No surprises there. Um, well, yeah, prompt me again. But she really distracted me, and I don't
Oh,
want to lose my train of thought.
Herculaneum Crystal City. Herculaneum Crystal City.
Well,
We
I know
were
the game. I think I do. Wait, it's new, right? They weren't even supposed to play this year. Maybe I
That's
don't
right.
know the game.
They weren't supposed to play. It
I
got
don't know
rescheduled.
everything as well as I think. It's nice that they're playing the game.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
true.
this is an ancient rivalry.
Hmm.
You can still see people at diners, some of the elders around town saying, "I scored that touchdown and they took it away," 50 years ago. And so that's great. It's great that these guys are playing, but you don't want the ceremonial aspect to overwhelm the pressure
Right.
right now on both teams. I think this is a do or die moment for Crystal City. A lot of the teams on Crystal City's schedule, despite Coach Dan Fox's efforts to get the team a little bit fairer schedule this season, a lot of the teams have turned out to be more athletic than Crystal City, including Missouri Military Academy, aka Coastal Carolina.
Coastal
So I
Carolina.
think this one tonight is a do or die moment. Crystal City has to get something out of this game. They get bonus points for playing Herky. Herky, of course, has been placed in a Class 3 district this year. Crystal City being in Class 1, they can get 20 bonus points and more, even if they keep it to less than a 2-touchdown victory. So we'll go ahead and give the Hornets that and predict Herculaneum 26, Crystal City 17.
All right, there you go. Moving on here to St. Vincent and St. Pius, the Battle of the Saints.
But missing Drew Brees, our
That's
Drew
true.
Brees from
That's true.
Jefferson.
Yeah.
Um, well, I think that I've been deceived so many years in trying to predict St. Vincent's conference outcomes because it seems like, if St. Vincent begins the season with a dreadful out of conference performance, they get it together and they get up to their waterline in the I-55 race. And correspondingly, if they have a great start and they appear as if they're going to win the conference, it never quite works out. They usually come back to the waterline.
Right.
So, as much as I would be tempted to favor the St. Vincent Indians, given their exploits over the past couple of weeks, and given some of St. Pius's struggles on offense and defense, um, we have to go by the history. We have to go, until proven otherwise. I think St. Pius is the favorite at home, so we're going to predict 28-24 for the St. Pius Lancers in a real close game at Hill Valley.
How about that? All right. Getting on down here to Jefferson and Grandview. This should be a good one.
Yeah, and kind of another pressure-filled moment for a Grandview team that they're 4-1. That's great. It looks great on paper, but they're still in fourth place in a really tough district. Grandview will play in Class 2, District 2 this season. A fair district, no artificial all-star teams, but a very tough district. Cuba, for instance, is currently just barely ahead of Grandview in the district standings. Grandview really wants that third seed if they want a winnable quarterfinal game, and earning that begins against the Jefferson Blue Jays. I think that if Grandview can get at least something out of this game and maybe build toward a potential 2-0 finish against St. Vincent and Chaffee, that would be a big step. So we're going to say Grandview barely stays within the 13-point margin. We're going to predict Jefferson 30, Grandview 19.
All right. Moving on to Festus and Pacific.
Well, this is a great brotherhood. You don't see a lot of out-of-conference rivalries that play almost every season, where the two programs are such wonderful friends and really brothers, like Festus and Pacific. Pacific, for the last few years, and I haven't got to see any of their film or highlights this season, but they've run the Muskegon offense. The Muskegon offense is my personal favorite offense in all of football. I think it's the wave of the future. It combines all of the benefits of the flex bone and all of the triple option fanfare with 4 wide receivers and a pistol snap. And people who read the magazine avidly can probably say this along with me. Altogether now, more coaches would use the Muskegon offense, except that it's too effective and not boring enough. But all of that probably isn't the best reason to predict a little bit closer game than probably some would anticipate between an undefeated Festus team and a 1-4 Pacific team. I think Festus has been sort of handicapping itself a little bit and more of these easy games. I think, for instance, the result against Desoto earlier this season, I think Coach Ofadale just knows when to take his foot off the gas a little bit and not use some of these weapons. I mean, they know that they've got a great weapon in Cayenne Roberts-Day on the pass rush. That showed up at the end of the conference championship game last week. But you don't want him lining up and butting heads both ways for 10 weeks. Right. And the same with Cole Rickerman. Why give Cole Rickerman 15 extra carries on the read option just so you can beat Pacific by 50 points instead of 20 points? Mm-hmm. So I think the Tigers will probably play it safe. Make sure not to get any of the important pieces injured in this game, and should probably coast to about a 20-point victory.
All right. Moving on to Windsor and North County.
A lot on the line for both teams here, and an opportunity for each team to make a statement. Now, Windsor can come out and prove that the performance against Hillsboro, the amazing performance against Hillsboro last week, in which Windsor scored as many touchdowns against the Hillsboro Hawks as the Festus Tigers did. Now, that's a huge leap forward. I don't care that they gave up 60 points. I don't care that they lost in the end. The Owls showed that they're more than just the quarterback, Derek Williams. Chris Butts had an excellent game. Mike Walcott had an excellent game. Now they have to come follow it up and have another excellent performance if they want to hang with North County, which almost claimed a share of the conference championship last week. So we're going to predict at least a 2-touchdown victory for North County, but once again, an opportunity for Windsor to exceed expectations once again.
Perfect. And last but not least, our live stream STL Friday Night Blitz, Jeffco Friday Night Blitz. Game of the week here, Hillsboro and Desoto.
Well, this is a good choice. And not just because of the ceremonial aspect of DeSoto coming back to the gridiron. Earlier this year, I said that Grandview was the unluckiest local team because they technically had enough players that they were kind of supposed to go ahead and play every week, but they had no chance to stay healthy if they did it.
Right.
I take that back. I think Hillsboro has to be the unluckiest local team when you consider the Hillsboro schedule. I mean, we know that the first 5 games were absolutely no picnic. They did well to win 2 of them. And then they have to come out and play 2 of these turbocharged teams, these teams that came out earlier this season, gelled together, improved together, had some success, and then they get 2 weeks off, 20 full days, 3 weeks to prepare for the Hillsboro Hawks. So it just doesn't get any easier. And given that DeSoto was able to improve by leaps and bounds before going into the break, you have to think that you're going to see another brave effort from the Dragons, similar to what the Windsor Owls were able to do against Hillsboro in last week's contest. It's not the Hillsboro Hawks' fault. Nobody should fault them if they win tonight's game by 4 points. They're going up against a turbocharged, 99% healthy DeSoto Dragons team. So we're going to play it safe, and we're going to say Hillsboro by 10 points. But it wouldn't surprise me to see the score be even a little bit tighter at times, with the Hawks probably managing to win in the second half.
Well, there you have it. There you are. You can always check out Kurt Boyer on Facebook on the Gridiron Geeks Mississippi magazine. Kurt, thanks so much, and we'll catch up with you next week.
Thanks, Ray. Have a terrific broadcast.
Bud. Thanks.